Okay, you're all welcome to our live session this evening. Welcome once again. So, yeah, you guys talk to me. How's your week been? Carlos, Malik, Clinton, Damien, George, anybody? Just how has your week been so far?
Yeah. My own. Yeah, good evening. It has been well. Makasi, I will wish that one day you have time to to talk about how how like you started the your own journey because like it's been wonderful like till now because based on till I was been following you for a very long time. Then the analysis that we have been doing, like I've seen to myself that yeah, I'm really improving. So I would like to hear how all this came up for you to build up that solid system for us to like learn from you. So it's been good. It's been good. It's been good for me.
You're welcome. You're welcome, George. You're welcome. It pleases my heart to hear such. My journey. I'll speak about that. I think when we have like so many persons here, I'll get to uncover my struggles. I struggled quite a lot. Lost the money as well. Um, so just a quick overview. So I've been doing this for I'd say this is my seventh year probably. Started like late 2018, and it's been a tough journey. I cannot even lie. It's been very tough. For the most part, getting access to education was not exactly possible. Now, what I mean is, you see, I said this before, right? That the reason, right, the major reason why we have a lot of unprofitable traders is the sheer lack of proper education. That's it. That's the main reason. Amongst other things, traders are not disciplined. Um, Traders don't have a solid system. Out of most excuses, or let's say most reasons that are being given, the main reason is that most persons do not really know how to do this. They're not properly taught because the educators we have in the space are like all most of them are like nonsense, right? Like on social media, we have too many people teaching just so much bullshit, and that's why. So if you think about it, like I said, trading is like a skill that it's just like every other skill. Okay, it might take more time to understand and learn, but at the end of the day, it's a skill. So if I'm not profitable and I try to teach you how to trade, then you will not be profitable as well. So my point is, I didn't really have access to proper education when I started, and I got to learn how to trade myself and like through trial and error. So that's, in my opinion, why it took me more time to be profitable. That's why, because like I said before, if you have someone who can teach you how to trade, it should not take you 3 4 years. It shouldn't even take you 2 years to be profitable. What I mean is, you might you might need experience. That's true, but you're not going to start off as being unprofitable. You see this whole cycle where you don't know what you're doing, and then slowly you get to understand it. Nah, it's not going to happen. If you from the get go have like someone, a mentor, an educator who knows how to trade, and he teaches you like right from the start, you're supposed to have like a head start. You're not supposed to go through that phase of unprofitability. So because I didn't have that, it took me so much time. I have to learn like through trial and error. Okay, I'll make mistakes, do this, I'll do that. So that's kind of like an overview. So I'll go through like the proper journey, like maybe in the boot camp. I think the boot camp is coming up next month. So I might just use the opportunity to like speak to a whole lot more people then and explain my journey. But yes, that's why it took me so much time. I'll give you guys an example. So in 2023, when I found stability, I was working for a different firm, not ExcelcioHub at the time, and not only did I have a bad ordeal working with the firm, I at the time was managing somewhere around $1.3 million, like in both challenges funded accounts. So I think altogether, I was doing like 1.3. Now, so I spent too much money trying to get this account. I got some of them passed, some of them were funded, some of them were like challenges, but that's how much I was managing at the time. And I think in January of 2024, um, it was bad. It was very bad because first of all, in September and August, I lost. I don't know if most of you guys know my forex fund. It's a prop firm. I don't know how many of you are familiar with that prop firm. Anyone
Yeah,
here?
yeah.
All right,
Familiar with it.
cool, exactly. So at the time, I was funded like with my forex funds for about a year. So I lost like huge payouts and my capital with them in I think in August or September, and it was bad. And also, as time progressed, most of the firms I was working with also started to shut down. TFT was like, damn, TFT is like a different story. Like I lost a whole lot with Defunded Trader, and it was really bad. Like the firm went down, of course, but I had so much funding with them, and like it crashed. I think Funded Engineer as well also took it downhill. I think um, I had an account with my Funded FX as well. I can't remember. Yes, I think I had one of them. So the point was around 1.3, and I lost everything. Every single account went to shit. So that's like part of my journey. So I had like a very tough year between the end of 2023 and like the start of 2024, and that's why since then I've not really come back into props because, like I told you guys, I don't trade props for the sake of just trying to rush it and get an account, right? I manage it as a portfolio, so I'm going to go into all the details like in another time. But if I'm going back into props, I like to purchase like anywhere between $1 to $2 million in challenges and then run it.
Wow.
Now I don't rush it. Exactly, I don't rush it. So I take my time, but I'll get funded, right? It might take me more time, but I'll get funded. And like I told you guys, I don't have to do too much in terms of percentage returns, right? I said before that if you know how to trade, if you're consistent, then you only have to allow your capital to do the heavy lifting, right? So you don't need to, in most cases, you don't really need to stress so much about making the most, right? Because if you're managing like $1 million in capital, I mean, think about it. Like, if you're doing 20% an annual year or 25%, then you're going home like six figures, and that's quite something. So the only reason why most persons struggle to keep a funded account and to be consistent with payouts is because they're trying to rush it. Just they gamify prop firms, right? But I try to treat it like a portfolio, so that's the difference. So I will come back into props. I think somewhere around this year. I've mentioned that before, and I'm trying to like go big, like somewhere around $1 to $2 million in challenges. I'm trying to like just hit them hard and then see what happens. Plus, with most prop firms, if you're profitable, it's a problem, right? It might be an issue. So, I'm trying to see how I can work around these things. Couple the
How
fact
about
that
trying FTMO? Because I
yeah,
hear
FTMO is
they're
inclusive. Like, yeah, inclusive. FTMO is like I think their max funding is like 400K. So they are part of what I'm trying to do. They are, of course, they are
oh,
like
okay.
the top firm in my list. But what I'm trying
Yeah.
to say, like, I cannot get funded with FTMO with $2 billion. So I have to like use other prop firms. If that makes sense. So
Yeah.
I'm worried about the longevity of some of the prop firms. Um, I'm worried about. So I had an experience. Um, I had an experience. So say a prop firm. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but sometimes some prop firms do what we call server maintenance. So in most cases, when they do a server maintenance, you might be forced to close all your trades just so that they can do a server maintenance. Now think about it. I hold trades for months. Right now I'm up like maybe 10, 11% in running trades. So think about and now I don't want to close my trades yet. Like they have so much potential. So think about having to close your trade short, either in profit or in sometimes in loss, because a prop firm wants to do a server maintenance. Now, not only have you cut your profit short and your losses, in most cases you can't re-enter. Like most of my trades, I can't get in. Like I can't get back into these trades. You get so they might begin to affect my returns on prop firms. So these are some of the things I'm looking at. Plus, with some prop firms, their payout structure is monthly. Some is bi-weekly. There's just a whole lot I have to check out first before I come back into props, and that's why I've not done that. So again, yeah, that's like so far. So just to point out, it's been a tough time. It's been long, and the reason why it took me so much time to get to being profitable was because of the fact that I had to go through this alone. Right, I did not really get proper education. So everything I got to understand, I learned on my own, like through experience. If that makes sense. So yeah, I think that's the most I can see for now. If that makes sense. But George, what inspired the question? Like what inspired the
Yes,
question?
yes. The reason is we have I mean some guys we have a group of community that like we do analysis sometimes to show, but it's like now that the the analysis that we have done already, now that they are bringing it on board, and then he means me that it's like I'm way ahead of them, like USD like CHF, like cash CHF, NZDJPY, all the papers that we have talked about. Now that it's like they are bringing on, so I realize that then Cassie is really like helping me out, like for me to be like to be improved. That's the reason why. Today I was going through the our page, all the analysis, whatever you write about it. I was reading through, checking on my chat too, and I see the whole really is everything is on point. That's the reason why.
Everything,
That's like
everything is working out,
everything is
right?
on. Yes. And one thing is that you have let me slow down, because at first it was I was just jumping into trade anyhow, but now no, I've just relaxed, waiting for the right setup. Then I'll strike. That's it. So
Hmm.
thank you. You are really helping me. Yeah.
Pretty impressive. I'm happy you're making progress, and I think most of us have like this, maybe similar things to say. And but yeah,
Yeah,
I'm very happy with progress.
Cassie, I
I'm
think
very
I don't know if maybe you've done it before. This is my first time coming on, a second time. I wanted to know whether you have like a strategy for like prop firms, because I now really want to focus on that, even though I'm building a small capital myself. Because the way you say you had a strategy to run or manage over millions of dollars, I'm sure there's a mindset and maybe a strategy that you have that's helping you. I see that from what you said, it looks like you're looking long term. You don't rush stuff. Are there certain
no,
things you can share? Yeah.
no, I don't. So yeah, it's the same system, right? Same
Yeah.
system. Now, there are just certain things I have to like. The system works. It's just applying to prop firms. I have to check for certain things, right?
Yeah.
And I've not finished. So that's why I've not really brought it up. If that makes
Okay.
sense.
Okay. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm not done. So, and again, this is just one system. I have other systems that trade, but like this is one I share publicly. So
Okay.
I would use as the months come by, I would create a prop account here with us in the community, right? Put that live. I was speaking to Momo about it, and some of the things we're planning to do. So I want to show you
Okay.
guys how we can do it, right? And how we can
Okay.
go our props system. So we'll do that as well. But the reason why I've not like tried to purchase like huge amounts of capital with props is because of some of these things I'm trying to check for. I want to make sure I complete them before I
Yeah.
start, right?
mm
That makes
mm
sense.
mm. Yeah, makes
So
sense.
that's
Uh,
about
uh,
it.
and sorry, just by way of information, I was speaking about the FTMO, right? You can go
Yeah.
on their page, right? They have a premium one where you can do higher amount, so it goes to 1 million, and then they have a quant link
Yeah.
benefit. So with
You can,
yours, where you've reached, I'm sure
yeah,
you can do those ones. I
yeah,
think
that's
will be,
that's part of the plan. There's the premium status, there's the prime status where you can work
yeah,
for the other company. The other company is
exactly.
called Quantling, right?
Quant
So you can
link, yeah,
be
I saw that.
you can be a flow. I've had discussions with some members, so you can be a trader in their trading floor and things like that. So
Yeah,
yeah, I have this in
yeah.
mind, right? I have this
Oh,
in
okay.
mind. So yes, of course I do. Of course I do. Of course I do. Because the thing is, when you're max panel FTMO, you can't purchase more accounts. You just have to scale up. That's the
That's it.
difference.
Okay. Yeah,
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 just
yeah.
scale up. So I have this in mind. I'll do all of this. I'll do all of this. I'll do all of this. So yeah, let's go on to the chart. Let's see what's happening. Now I'm pretty excited today. My portfolio has hit another new high, which is cool, which is very decent. And let's go to the chart and dissect. Let's see what's happening. Let's
Sure.
see what's happening. Okay. All right. So I'll share my screen now, and let's see. Right. So can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
All right, wonderful. Sorry, let's go on to what we have. The JPYs. Interesting, right? Let's see. Okay. So we just might be turning around for the GPY, just like I've explained like a while ago. Um 80 JPY, let's see. So we maintain support here. I said in our last session that we might be forming an inverse head and shoulder here, or as some may call it, a double bottom with like a retest of the key level, or yes, the weekly support level. And so far, yes, so far so good. That's what's happening. And we're now transitioning into the upside. So cat JPY, same thing, right? We're pushing back. Let's see. So for cat JPY, I need a breakout. Of course, the breakout, the retest, and I'll go long again. I said before that if I take a loss, in most cases, I don't have to worry too much, because if I didn't get the timing right, then of course the market will just present another opportunity for me to get back in. I look at this. This is cat JPY. I bought in October of 2024. Now last year, and it took me like 4 months to take a loss on this guy. Not only did it take me so much time, it was very obvious that the Canadian dollar at the time was very weak. It was struggling, right? And that's why we saw this move. Coupled with the fact that the Japanese yen gained like short-term strength, so this is what aided the move to the downside. But yeah, it was just one loss, right? Just a 1% loss in 4 months. So if we break out, I will then take a retest and then ride the trend back to the upside. So at the end of the day, it was a loss, but it's not like I did anything wrong. It's just the market was not ready to move, right? And there's not much you can do about such situations. And then CHF GPY. So I bought in September. I think right now this is the oldest trade in my portfolio. Like when it comes to like running trades, I bought this guy in September. So it's about 6 months now. It's just going to 6 months. I've been holding CHF GPY as a trade. Now I think some persons still wonder like, how are you able to hold trades for this long? I said this before that to a great extent, I think it's discipline and having a plan, because I would only close CHF GPY, right, if we break the level, and so far we've not. Even though the Swiss franc might be struggling, it has been struggling, but it doesn't necessarily change my technical levels. I mean, if price pulls back, I just have to buy more. That's the difference. So I'll give an example of how this can make sense if you're managing a proper account. So if, for example, as at September, I was managing, say, 500K, right? So my risk per trade would be $5,000, and that was at September. Now, if for any reason I've been able to increase my capital to maybe around 800K by now, which is March, then when price comes back here on the new account, like since I missed the entry in September, on the new accounts, I can easily just add the risk. I can easily just add the extra 3K of risk, and then I would have $8,000 on this trade idea, and that's it. So in some cases, when time has passed between the entries, you might be managing more capital at the time, so you just have to like buy the extra that you have, and then stay with the position. That's something I've noticed that I can do with swing trading, which is very cool. Because think about this, right? Risking about $8,000 on this trade idea, or let's say $5,000 on this trade idea. Now you bought in September, and up to now you've still not taken a loss. Right? 6 months later or 5 months later, you've still not taken a loss. That's interesting. Okay. And if this trade plays out, it's like a 1 to 5, 1 to 4, 1 to 5. You're going to make around, I don't know, 25K on the trade. Just one trade idea. So you see that you just have to focus on the quality of the ideas you're taking, right? Because that's what gives you confidence to put risk behind it. And then if you think about it, it's not so much risk, because that's just 1% of your entire capital. So when you're consistent, you can make so much money. You just have to get more capital. That's it. It's like a hack, right? So you have to adjust your thinking from trying to make too much to getting more capital. You get. So it's like a hack. When you are consistent, you don't want to stress so much. It's like whatever the year gives you, you take, right? But you can still make so much money. For example, I'm up 7% this year so far, right? Aside my run rate, like close trades, I'm up 7% this year. Now that is big or small, depending on the account size you're trading, or depending on the capital you're managing, right? 7% is $70,000. It's 7K. It's 700, right? It just depends on how much are you managing. You get, and again, just the same point. So if you're managing capital and you take a buy on a particular asset, and then 3 months later, the trader there is still open, and for any reason price comes back to your entry, then of course go ahead and just pick up more longs on the same trade idea. When the trade plays out, you're going to make much more money because of how much capital you're managing. So this is a hack I have personally found to be very interesting and something I want to use for the long term. So again, CHF is now back in profit, and this is not to say that it would definitely play out, but so far it's playing out. So I think that's about it, and it's pretty cool to see. And then
Yeah. Hello.
yeah, Abdul, you have a question?
Okay. Concerning the CHFJPY.
Sorry, you said?
I have a question concerning the CHFJPY. CHFJPY.
Okay, yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. I want to say that. Okay. Don't you think that your take profit is quite high? Like
I want
because
to ask you
if you see
something.
that if you check in the past, the price hasn't made any attempt to move on to move over to move to this upside also.
Okay. Okay, so don't I think my take profit is too high? Let me see.
Uh,
Now, first of all,
yeah.
you have to understand that it's not too high. Okay. You're asking the question because price has not gotten there. Now, price has never gotten there because I mean this is how CJG looks, right? It's like price discovery, if that makes sense. So you can't say it is too high. It's like gold, right? Gold is like in uncharted territory right now, but you can't say gold is too high. I mean it's high, but gold can still go higher. You get. So applying to CJPY, there's no resistance level at the top or somewhere here to work with. So I'm just looking for a new high. Now I think the high, just like I said with my principles, the high is coming from this fib, right? So having looked at where price bounced off, the market might look to top out around any of these three levels, right? Mostly around any of these two levels. So I'm looking to take my profits around this region. So is it too high? I would not exactly say so. No. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. I would have put it at the last high, the zero on the fib.
Yeah, you can, but personally, I've seen that the market will usually turn around or between 0.68 and 0.5, right? So anywhere around these levels is like different take profits. Personally, doesn't mean that the market cannot extend, but this is what I've found. This is like my sweet spot. Whenever I'm looking for take profits at the high, this is what I'll usually do. So and then moving on, EJ. So we rejected this level, and like I said,
Like from the most
Carlos, do you have a question?
wait, can you hear me please?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, I was asking where you took the fib level from.
Okay.
Was it from the most recent high?
Yeah, from this low to this high. It was like the move, right? So I just really feed there.
The lowest low, right?
Yeah, so far.
Was where you took the 0% from?
Yeah, down here to Okay.
Where the field took off from.
Sorry, I didn't quite get that. I didn't hear you. Can you come again?
Hello, Casey.
Yeah. Jimmy.
Um, about this trade, would you suggest, because it looks like, to me it looks like a good trade, but would you suggest like waiting a little bit for a pullback or something to get in?
I think that
Like
would
if
depend on. I think that would depend on the level. Did you buy? Were you the one about GJ? That was you, Johnny. That was you, right?
GJ, no, it wasn't GJ.
Okay. I think someone spoke about GJ the last time we had a conversation. Uh, who then was that? Hold on. Do you guys remember this example? I think we spoke about this break and retest on Pound GP on Monday. So I know someone bought. Okay, that was Yusuf. Okay, yeah, he's not here. All right, okay, cool.
I did my
So,
UJ though.
sorry, you said?
I did my UJ though.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, we're coming to you anymore. But for pound, sorry, for the Swiss franc, I don't know. I think it depends on. Sorry, hold on. Let's see. Weekly maybe. I think there are like three main levels to watch out for. Okay, maybe around this level. Maybe here. Maybe if it pulls back, maybe if it pulls back, that might be like a great retest. Cause like buying here, that's like a breakout kind of,
Yeah,
and
I was thinking that.
depending on where it stops, and that is the daily time frame. So a retest would make more sense and will give you like a better risk to reward because then you can just trade off of it like as a support. So I think that would be fun.
Right. Okay, thank you.
Okay. So here, let's see, EJ. Okay, so we rejected as resistance, of course. But then it seems like the market is trying to break back above the level. So let's see if that happens. Now I will become very interested in Euro JPY if we manage to break above. If we do, then that's beautiful. I would love to go long on the retest of the level. So and then pound GPY. So we're pushing higher, which is cool. And I think, like Yusuf mentioned, this was a break and retest that he took, which is so far playing out. And like I said about this retest, I said if the retest just continues, then that's fine. The only time there might be a problem is if the market decides to maybe take a deeper pullback. But if we had a retest from here and we just continue, then yes, this retest was not about to take. So that's what we have so far. So yeah, so far so good. I think around 1.75 hours, which is good so far. NJ, so we're breaking out, as we said. Um, so far, we've not broken out, but we are trying to break out, which is good. So we're not trying to say too much because I definitely know that some persons would have been trying to short this guy, trying to get like the downside confirmations. Now, this is not to say that we can't get it. But it is to say that the current price action might be leading that we might be having the reversal to the upside. Looks like an inverted and shoulder pattern here, which we discussed before now, and we might be breaking out. So, coupled with the fact that, like I said, if we look at the 3-month time frame, let's see, it seems like the market is trying to cruise above like this weekly level, or monthly level, which is pretty cool. So that might aid upside movement, if that makes sense. It's the same thing that UJ did, right? So it brings us to UJ. I was saying this before in our previous sessions that we try to break below, but we have to see how the money candle closes. Like, so this is bringing us back to the importance of a candle that has closed. So price has gone back above the key level, or the weekly level, which is like, okay, evidence of that level being support, right? So if, for example, we had like the monthly candle closing below the key level, now if I think Abdul was trying to short UJ at some point. So if you wanted to short after the market closed below the level on the monthly, then you'd have said, okay, fine, we had like a monthly close below it, but we didn't. So
Yeah,
this is
I did went short. I went short, but
yeah,
so
yeah, you did. I think you got stopped out.
but yes, I was stopped out. So right now I'm seeing like upward movements on the chart also. So
Exactly. So, and then do you see how important it was to hit the advice of closing your shorts, your initial short positions you had here? Because think about this now, you'll be like in a bigger situation because now your profits are pulling back if you didn't close out here, and now you have to deal with an extra loss. So you see that it was wise to close here just to secure your profit at least. So I think that counts. So yeah, UJ so far. We might have a pullback. We might have a pullback, and if we do, then it's like it will be like an inverse and shoulder pattern, which would aid bullish continuations. So yeah, let's see how that plays out. Daily card, not much of an update so far. Euro card, we broke below. That's the point. Pound card, I think it's starting to push now. Which is interesting because if we don't consolidate or if we don't pull back, then we might see a new high on the pound card, which would be then interesting for my portfolio. So we'll see how that goes. Enter the card. Still not much on update. I think we're finding support here so far, but will that stay long or will price eventually break below this level? That's what time will tell us. Time will dictate that for us. And then USD card. So yeah, still sideways, nothing much. Euro AUD was still pulling back. Euro NZD. Okay, so yeah, we closed out. I take profit, so that's about it. Pound AUD. Let's see how we're looking at the monthly. So okay, so we're still trying to close above the daily time frame, right? As you see. Now we're not rushing this guy, but we want to see how the candle closes first, and then most likely we get in on the retest of the
yeah,
level.
actually I've been holding my longs in last week on pound AUD. So I don't know, maybe I'm still holding. No, actually I had a drawback yesterday. So
Okay. So okay, you're long on pound AUD at the moment.
yeah. I took my long from this retest, from the second retest.
Okay. So which reaches this one here or this one?
Yeah, this one here. No. The second one.
This guy.
No. Like the previous bullish candle. Come yeah, right there.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. So this was the first retest. Now I personally am waiting for the candle to completely close, and then I'll look to take it. If there's a retest, if there's another retest, then I'll look to take that one on pound AUD. And pound NZD, yeah, just above, just a little bit in profit, nothing too crazy. Let's see the monthly. Okay, so yeah, so far so good on the monthly. We retested and kind of rejected to the upside, so not bad. AUD USD. So still moving sideways. I expect this drop to the downside. You see that beautiful? You don't. Yeah, oh well. So yeah, like I said, I'm still short like at the top, and I was supposed to get out like here sometime in February, right? But at the time I had mixed up my levels, so I didn't exactly see that this was like the level to take profits off. So that's why I'm still holding the trade. Ordinarily I should have been out of this trade, but I'm now still waiting just to see if dollar will continue in its trend, and then pull 80 USD back to this point, at least for the double bottom, then I'll get out of the trade. And then if it breaks below a retest, of course, I'll just continue riding the trend to downside. So that's about the plan for this guy. EU. So yeah, same thing, not much. Pound USD, same thing, not much. NZUSD, same thing, not much. So like black pairs are just like moving sideways. So there's not much of an update to give on these guys. And then the Swiss franc pairs. So ADCHF, I still want the retest, right? If we get the retest, that would be fantastic. For more downside continuations. And then CAT CHF. So this level is pretty interesting, right? This is like a weekly level of support. It was a weekly level of support. And then price broke below it and then pulled back. So we're already rejecting like the level, but I think price might want to come back and maybe really find resistance before dropping. And the price plus one break. So we'll see. Now, fundamentally, the Swiss franc is still struggling, right? I think they are trying to fight against getting into like negative rates because I'm trying to remember what like their interest rate at the moment. I think it's very low, like maybe at like 0.25% or something. And the way things are going, it seems like they might go into negative rates. So the Swiss franc is not so strong, and I don't know. We'll see if CAT TTF would maintain this downtrend. I'm not sure. I don't know yet. But of course, we're short at the top, and we'll see what happens to the trend. Euro CHF. So we've pulled back to this level, and interesting. Now, if this level would act as support, we might see like a last leg to the upside. It's very possible. Okay, it's very possible to see like a last leg to the upside. So yeah, let's see. If you're interested in buying at UCHF, of course that's fitting your plan. Okay, like whatever plan you have, and yeah, see what eventually happens. I think pound CHF is about the same thing. Yeah, about the same thing. And then CHF, no retest. Level is like at the top. If it pulls back, fine. Doesn't. Yeah. Oh, well. And then yes, USD CHF. So we went long. I think sometime in March, like a few weeks ago. Went to drawdown. We're back up on key level. And yeah, so far just a little bit of drawdown. I think if I look through my, hold up, let me see. Sorry, let's see. Yeah, so I think right now that's like the only trade like in red, like just a little red, but that's the only trade in red so far. In my profit, every other trade is like well in profit. So yeah, USCHF is the only trade that is sitting in a very small drawdown. So we'll see what happens. Now, I think you guys noticed, like if you look through the running trades, even though I'm up, right, these trades, most of these trades have not done much. So there's so much potential in these trades if they play out. Now, personally, I'm looking at around, so right now I'm up around maybe 10%, but I'm still looking at around maybe 20 or more. And then, mind you, we're still in March, and I'm just giving an outlook based on the running trades, not only the trades that are coming in the next few months, right? So again, like I said, well, it looks like we're gonna have a solid year, but it depends on if the market gives us opportunities, right? So we just need opportunities. That's it. If the market will trend, if most of these pairs will trend and give us opportunities, then of course we're going to have a very solid year. And also, I think I might have to go down to like my journal just to explain a little difference as to what we might see this year. Okay, but so far with like the currency pairs, you guys have any questions so far?
Please, actually, I had the problem with my system when you were trying to explain that flip level. So maybe you can go over it again.
Go over what?
How you take out your fib level for the next high that the market is about to create. I think
Oh,
case study was CHF JPY, something like that.
yeah. So, like I said, if I draw a fib from like the lows to the highs, right? I have like an extension, a fib extension, which I think I've discussed this before now. But yeah, this is a fib extension. Now, in scenarios, in cases where I don't have a key level to take profits off, right? I would use a fib extension because it is expected the market will create a new high. So the question is, where is the new high? You get. So I have mostly seen through research and data that the market will tend to pull back from these two levels, either the 50 or 61% retracement levels. Sometimes might go as far as like the 78.6, but not every time. So this is personally for me, this is my sweet spot. So I use these extensions to take profits if there is no key level to take profits off. So
Okay, but why do you use that other low? Because there are a whole lot of lows there, but you're taking this other one that is like
now,
quite close to the key level.
now
Or
look
do
at
you
this,
say
right?
the most recent?
Now look at this. Let's take this guy out. Now, from the weekly time frame perspective, this is actually like the last high low, right? All of these moves are like still like in one move. So this was like the last high low before the next proper high. You get. So that's why I would use this. Like this was pullback, high, pullback. So after this pullback, we then have an impulsive run to the upside. So I would see this as the entire move, and I would look to draw my fib from this low to this high. That's how I do it.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Yeah. So any other questions on maybe currency?
Casey, please, can you probably show the maybe like the calculation of the fee retracement and the extension?
Okay. I mean,
Maybe
it's like
just
okay.
for,
Let's.
if you don't mind, maybe just for a screenshot of,
Okay, I can still send this out. Maybe after the live session, I can maybe send this out so that you guys can see it. But it's the same
Okay,
thing. Like
okay.
it's the same 38%, 50, 61, 78. It's the same fib levels. I didn't change it. So, but yeah,
Okay.
this is how it looks.
Casey, I have a question on your strategy. When I look at TradingView, right, I see
Yep.
you have weekly, daily, 4 hour, and 1 hour only. So do you mostly take your trades on the daily? Um, I've, I've not really joined where I've seen you do analysis on your trade, but it looks like even though the trades are swing trades and they're long, it looks like they're always hitting. Like your wins are really more from what I've seen on analyzing. I
Yeah.
want to like, do you have like a strategy, like, or you have certain videos I can look at where I can see trades long term? Because I'm used to the intraday kind of short term one. Sometimes there's too much noise there. I would like to really see your confidence level in doing these particular ones.
Okay. So I don't have any like maybe pre-recorded videos, and you see this system is for the most part I use like the live sessions to teach it, right? So
Okay.
that's why I said before that it would require your consistency to understand because I think some persons here who are very consistent, kind of to some extent, to a large extent, understand how the system works, right? Because
Okay.
we've used it to take trades like multiple times. I think one of the trades I've taken this year, all of them are live trades, right? So we do this together. Before I take it, I mean, even pound ended at like the most recent trade. We use the same exact metrics to take pound ended. So because I don't have a pre-recorded video, it will
Mm.
require consistency on the live sessions to understand how the
The
system works.
check. Okay. Mm.
So
So that
that's
like when
like
you see an opportunity, your thought process, what you look out for, you're marking the key levels and all of that,
yeah.
the projections and all.
So
Okay.
so yeah, exactly. I think this is your second time, so that's why it's not really kicking yet.
Yeah.
So if see if you can maybe come regularly, if that's and then if you think about it, there's not much of analysis to do, right? Because
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
come here every week and we have the trades like how do I explain this now? We anticipate these trades like months ahead, sometimes weeks ahead, right? So
Mm-hmm.
when it happens, it's not like I have to do an analysis like on the go or at the
Yeah.
moment.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
we track price, we'll be monitoring price action, and finally it's ready to move or it has given us an opportunity. That's how we work. So it's not like we
Okay.
have to do analysis every single day or no, not
Mm,
exactly.
mm.
You get.
I get. I get.
So I think another example is like EJ, right? So let's see. Okay. So now here's EuroJPR, for example. Now I've been tracking this guy since September, right?
Yeah.
Months before now, and it might be presented an opportunity. So if it breaks out, right? If it breaks out and pulls back for a retest, I would love to buy. So if this is happening, you see that it will take time. It will slowly
Yeah.
happen. Every candle is like maybe a daily candle, for example. So it will
Mm-hmm.
take time. We'll see it happen slowly. So when EJ sets up, it will not be like we just did the analysis like that day, right? It's like we've been
Yeah.
tracking price action
We've been tracking
and
it.
we've been
Yeah.
exactly we're waiting for price to just align what we're looking for, and then we take the trade. So
I think in my
that's how.
mind, NJ2 looks similar. If you can look at it.
Yes, and it does look similar. The difference is the key level, right? So key level is also like something I've discussed, but I also need to do that like constantly. Now, even though NJ looks similar, this can happen. I will personally not be buying up to this level, right? It's just part of my rules. It's not like it's wrong. It's just something I would not do, if that makes sense.
Mm.
But yes, it doesn't mean that. I mean, if all the JPYs are going to go like in the same direction, then of course NJ might present this opportunity to the upside. That's why I'm pointing it out, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
So again, let's just track price, right? We throw price and
So
allow
with your
price to
take profit,
go up.
will you take the last high, or you exceed it with
This
your
high,
fib level? Take the yeah, that one, or
this
you exceed with your that one.
high. Let's
That's if
see. I
you want
think
to go long.
it would differ. I think NJ has a level to work with. So okay, interesting. I think NJ has a level to work with. Let me see. Yeah. Okay, that's
Wow.
so. No, hold up. That's too far. All right, that's too far. So, that's really far. That's
Yeah.
around 120. Yeah, 120. So let's come down to the monthly. Do we have any other levels? Not really. That's actually okay. Let's see. 104. Okay, so now because this I'm having to come down to the monthly to pick a level, right?
Yeah.
Because the next key level on like the higher time frames, like the 3 months, 6 months, is like way up here,
Way
and
up.
that's like very. So I have to like come down and use the month like this. Now think about this, right? The last time price came to 100 was in 1986. That was the last time
That's a
price traded around
long
it.
time. Yeah.
Exactly. So price had a reaction here in the monthly. If coming out to the weekly, we could be clearer. But this was the last reaction I got. So it will only make sense that when I'm coming back to take profits, I should look at around these levels to take my profit. So um
Would
that's
you not take the
how.
last high?
No, not the last high. I will
The
take the
two
level
the two
instead.
top. Okay. Okay. Okay.
I'll take the level instead. So that this is how I'll look at NJ. So I think from key level to key level we have just shy of 700 pips. Not too small, but yeah, pretty decent.
Yeah.
Decent. So yeah, that's about it.
Do you do your entry on the 1 hour, or you just analyze
No,
and you think it's
the
ready to
daily,
go on the
it's the
daily?
daily. Yeah.
Okay.
So I think you mentioned that like my win rate is higher. Yes, it is
Yeah.
because of that adjustment. So before now, I would take my entry on the 4 hour, but now I do it on the daily. That
On
has
daily, yeah.
increased that's increased my win rate by so much.
I think I want to switch. I want to change to daily.
Yes, that's what I use, and so far, yes, it's been decent. So yeah, any other questions concerning like maybe currencies? Before we look at indices, and then we'll go back to my my portfolio. Okay, so no further questions. Interesting. All right. So for indices, still no. Sorry for that. Sorry for that. Sorry for that. Can you guys hear me?
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Sweet. All right. Let's see. Sorry, I had a little break in transmission. Okay. But yes, I'm back. Uh. All right. What were we speaking on? I'm just trying to recall. Hold on.
I think what we were talking about was about Malik. You were showing Malik how those strategies actually do work. So I think you were done, about to go over to indices, then to your portfolio. That was it.
Okay. Okay. All right. All right. That makes sense. Um. Okay. Let's see. All right. So hold up. Hold up. So I'm trying to show my screen, and okay. Let's see. What's now? All right. So can you guys see my screen?
Yeah, we can. We can see.
All right. Cool. And also, Abdul Khalis, have you guys noticed the same thing where we'll go
Yeah,
down?
I think it was in the beginning. It was kind of doing that at some point, but it's not like frequent as it used to be in the last 2 3 sections. Today's one is
Oh,
actually, I think so far it's just like maybe 2 or 3 times.
It
okay.
was less
Okay.
often. It was less often. It's just that I don't know. The screen is freezing once in a while. Like
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It's going to pair, and it will have to wait before you it transit to the next pair. I think that's what Abdul actually meant.
Okay. All right. Noted. 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 Thank you so much. Thank you for that feedback. So yes, I was just about to go into indices, and yeah. Now they are still like in corrective territory. Just like I said, I still expect some of these guys to pull back and see what happens, right? See if they continue to pull back. Maybe some of these regions. Um, so yeah, to profit here. The German docs. I think I'll post an update on this guy. We really like topped out, or it does seem like we have topped out here. So with this double top forming, we might see like some for that downside. Now this is not to say that we may not continue to the upside, but this pattern is starting to give us signs that we might be heading lower. And yeah, pretty much that's about it for like most of these indices. Now I was
Yeah.
looking at
Hello, Kingston. Hello.
here, Abdul.
Actually, I've been like I want to ask that what usually causes spacing between charts? Is it inactivity or price action or what?
Yeah, it's a gap. Like sometimes it's like activity during the weekend, right? Either a news event or something like that can cause like price gaps. So these are mostly gaps, as you see.
Okay, so let's say you have a running trade now. You know, like let's say you're going bullish, and like there is a space of like 2 or 3 candles here, and it started from upside. Like this, the candles started moving to the upside. Like, is it going to be part of your like maybe your reward? I don't know if you got what I'm trying to say. Like, is it going to
Not
to be part of your reward, or it will be skipped?
it's it's real. It's real. It's real. So these gaps are accounted for. So if it gaps up, you make more money. I'll give you an example. EU. It happened with EU, I think. So yeah, this guy. So EU, there was a gap when we sold EU. I think one of the weekends there was a huge gap on Monday. So we're like, I think it was like 1% up. And then before the end of the day, the gap was closed. So yes, when there's a gap, yes, you account for it on your account. Yes, that's also the question. So yeah, so same thing for the indices. They're all in corrective territory. I was looking at the SMI. Um, this was like a pullback. We didn't have like a proper retest. We broke below, so nothing for me. I think that's about it. Most of these guys are not really, really ready to push. Okay, so I have this guy in mind as well. Let's see. So yeah, the killer is like far away, so it's not much. Not honestly, it's not much. Uh, gold has broken a new high yet again. So like I said, gold is like very much in uncharged territory. Um, it can go higher. It can still very much go higher. Now we expect a pullback, of course. We expect a correction on gold. But it can move higher. I mean, you cannot say for certain that gold cannot move higher. It can. Now it's too high to buy, so it's too high to buy, and it's too difficult to sell because you'll be caught in this upside move. So to be honest, if you don't have like proper risk management, I think you're just better off staying off gold. I mean, gold is too high to buy at least for now. I think we see like a proper pullback on this guy. Copper. Um, so copper is still also high. I expect a pullback from price to maybe retest this level. Now, interestingly, I think we're putting in new highs here on copper. So this is a clear break to the upside. So a pullback will be very interesting. Right, that's what I'm waiting for on copper. Platinum. I'm not long, but this guy is also looking very interesting. I didn't buy this. But this guy is looking very interesting. The only difference is we've been moving sideways for so long, right? I think since like the start of 2024, we've been moving sideways on platinum. But I think we might have room to the upside on this guy. Actually, it's looking very interesting for me. But yes, I'm not long yet, but I still have my eyes on platinum. I'm still considering like the sideways movement, one and two. How many times we've had a retest of the level before they push to the upside. So, but yes, I am still having my eyes on platinum. And then for the most part, I think at the time when I was looking at this guy, my broker did not have it. I think something like that. Some brokers don't offer all the instruments, right? Some prop firms don't offer all the indices. For example, I heard some prop firms do not offer this guy. So if you were buying the France 40 index, yes, it's on some prop firms you may not have been able to do this. So that's something else you have to look at when trading props. Some of the ideas you might have that are not on currencies, you may not have the opportunity to buy or sell them on some prop firms. It happens. So these are some of the issues that I look at before considering to come back into the prop game. So that's it for platinum, and then silver. Interestingly, now silver is back at the key level, right? Which is very interesting. Now, first off, okay, Johnny's here. So first off, I think in our last update, Johnny talked about silver, and we looked at this retest, right? So we're like, price is retesting this level, and we might just come back to test key level, which is what has happened so far. I mean, like I said, the trend is to the upside, and we're hitting the levels. Now, are we going to have a breakout? I'm not sure yet, but it's going to be very interesting if we do have a breakout. Now, if we don't, and if this key level like stays strong, we should expect a turnaround on silver. Now, if silver will turn around, then most likely gold will as well turn around. So, yeah, let's see. But if we have a breakout, that'll be very interesting for price action. Now, I still like to think that silver is undervalued, at least compared to gold, right? It is so undervalued. And a breakout here could mean running this guy up to some of these levels. So a breakout of 35 could mean trading back to 50. That's pretty interesting, right? So we'll see. We'll see how this rolls out. This is like still too early. So I'm not trying to like push the agenda just yet. But I'm waiting. If we have a clean breakout, then of course, why am I not to look for an opportunity in silver? So some of these indices, some of these metals, some of these commodities are starting to slowly bring opportunities. I expect that maybe at half of the year, like halfway into the year, we might be having like decent opportunities on these guys. And if we do, then that's fine. It'll be lovely, because I like to think that indices, metals, they provide opportunities that help with like portfolio growth. For example, last year, some of my wins, like most of my wins, came from indices. Like it was very interesting to see. And like I said before, I only started trading indices like last year. Like I added indices to my portfolio last year, so it was such a huge addition, and it's been good so far. And yes, that's why I'm just hoping that we get opportunities. If we do, and of course, that just helps the year at the end of the day. So I think that's about it for indices and metals. So any other questions here? If not, then we'll move to my portfolio.
Because can we look at US oil? You were talking about it last time that you wanted to come to some key level, but now
What's that?
I think it's US oil.
Oil. Okay.
Oil.
Yeah. Oil. Sorry, oil. Yes. So we've not had the key level test yet. Market is trying to find support around this weekly level instead. Now, like I said before, are we gonna get a retest of key level? I don't know, maybe. But that's like the only time I want to engage. Now think about this, right? Look at the move from the key level, right? It's been a downtrend since then, and I'm not just trying to like catch this, okay, without price having to engage with my key level. You get, so it's such a huge move to catch, and it's like, with swing trades, in a sense, you have to be like quote unquote correct about the moves, right? So buying here is not wrong, okay? But if I want to engage with this, like from key level to key level, then I have to wait to see if we get 62. So that's why I'm waiting. I think the two where's the other guy? So there's light crude oil and then there's main crude oil. Sorry, not this guy. I don't know if I have that. Okay, yes, Brent. Okay, cool. So now you see Brent like came very close to the key level, but it did not test. But it's the same thing I'm looking at, right? Break, retest to the upside. So in this case, we need to have like that manipulation, right? Like I said, that's what I'm waiting for. If not, I would just want to engage, just trying to buy oil at this price. Now, if I want to buy oil at this price, then I have to be well aware that we can still test, right? Then that would then mean taking oil and then having a much wider stop. But instead of doing this, because I don't want to get in here and then keep my stop here, because I know that I can take a loss, and yet my idea is not wrong. You get so to stay afloat, I have to like keep my stops like wider, at least below the key level, and then it reduces my reward because from here to here it'd be like 1 to 3.6. But then if I wait for like the key level, that gives me like a 1 to 6, 1 to 7. So you see that's why I like to wait for like that key level, because I have the best risk to reward from such levels, and then the move would most likely always happen from such levels. So that's the only reason why I'm still sitting there. So does that answer your question?
Yes. Thank you.
Okay. All right. And okay, so now we move on to sorry, hold up. Okay, let's see. Interesting. So, all right, let's take this guy out. And then come back here. And okay, so let's move over to my portfolio. All right. Now, the reason why I'm coming down here is to explain certain things, right? So let's see. I'm going to drag this. So let's just pick out last year, right? So at the end of December, I was up 23%. Okay, and yeah, it was a decent year. But I want you guys to look at some of the wins and some of the losses. Now, first off, a lot of things happened last year. For example, I added indices and metals. Okay, I was trading metals there, but like indices, I added them like sometime in May, I think, April, May. So that change would affect my portfolio, of course. I also made some adjustments to the key levels. I made some adjustments to my entry time frame. So what you see here as a result is not just what I would have done throughout last year. My returns would have been so much higher, right? But that's not the point. The point is this is what the returns look like. So I'm trying to get a smoother equity curve. So let me explain what that means. Let's see. So how do I explain this now? Which of these metrics do we use? Okay, so start. Okay, so I'll give you guys an example. At some point, I had a losing streak of eight losing trades in a row, right? And that happened in July. So I want to bring you guys to July. Let's see, the 1st of July and the end of September. This was like the period where I had where I suffered a drawdown. So between July and September, I had a drawdown, right, of 4.5% in that quarter. Okay. Now in July alone, I had a loss. Let's see. Okay, so I had like a 3.6% loss. Now the reason being that I had a win on pound card, and then I lost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's why you have 8 losses in a row, right? So this thing, this swing in my portfolio, this pullback in my portfolio is not something I want to see anymore. What I mean is, it's not like I can't take losses, but with the adjustment I've made, it would be very difficult to see 8 losses in a row, right? Plus in the same month. Like I took these losses, although not I didn't take all of these trades in the same month, but like cumulatively the losses came in the same month. You get. So this was something that happened last year that will not happen, that is not supposed to happen this year, right? So again, it's about making improvements. So this adjustment that I've made, especially with like the entry time frames, is supposed to prevent such swings from happening, right? So why am I bringing this into perspective? It is because if we were to compare, okay, so let's just say last year's return, right? Cool. So from January to the end of March of last year, I closed the year with like 12%. So now that's the first quarter of 2024. I had a better quarter than what I'm having so far, right? In closed trades. So far this year I'm up 7%. But at the end of the first quarter of last year, I was up 12%. So it's already looking like I had a better start last year. But now the difference is in the swings, right? The swings of the portfolio. Times like between July, right? Times like between July and September. Now look at this. In that time period, I only had 2 wins, right? Euro CHF and pound card. So you see that it was such a tough time. It was a tough time. But what do you guys notice? I recorded the trades. I recorded everything, right? So this gives you not just that it gives you confidence, but it helps you see that okay, you go through bad times, you take losses, and you make improvement from the losses. Okay. So again, it was a tough time. Okay. I think I was safe because my wins at the time outweighed my losses. Like I think I made like 3.7% here. So yeah, if I was at this, I made like almost 4% here and almost 4% here. So that's why I was able to like cushion the losses. But aside that, I had just 2 wins out of 15 trades. So that was like a very tough time. So what am I trying to say? Now, even though I had like a better start of like my first quarter, I suppose what I'm having now, the difference is I would not have to go through this, right? I think for me to go through this, market conditions generally have to be like very bad, like really, really bad. You need to have this result in a quarter. You get. So you see that these losses, right? This is 13% worth of losses. If that makes sense. So this affected my portfolio, right? And I'm not supposed to have this swing anymore. So even though the quarters might not be too big, like maybe 12%, it might be, but the point is I will have a time where I would have such a swing in my portfolio. That's the point. So I will have like a much smoother equity curve as opposed to last year. And that's why if we let's see. So you take this guy here up until date, right? I'm up 30%. And if you're managing like 500K, that's 150,000 doing just 30%. And that's why I said before that you can make so much money trading. It's just you need more capital on your side. That's the difference. So when some of these changes started to take effect was in October, right? And that's why you see that the returns are different. And like I said before, wins and losses are like evenly distributed, right? You get. So when most of the changes like that I made to the levels to the entry time frame came in, there was a clear difference in the swings. And now this year there's going to be like a much higher win rate, right? Remember that most of my trades are still open. I've not closed them. So again, this is just to help you see, like this is perspective, right? To help you see what tracking your trades can do for you. Like you can see things, you can make improvements. And it just goes back to what I've said about tracking, journaling your trades. Without tracking your trades, you just can't make progress. There's nothing to look back on to see if you're making progress, right? So the only way to make progress is to, yes, track your trades. So this is like the only thing I wanted to point out, because I was trying to compare the performance, and I saw that I had like a better start last year, but still it doesn't change the fact that the swings I'll have this year will be like way different. So interesting, right? So yeah, I don't know if you guys have any questions, maybe concerning this, or any other questions that you might have. Okay, yeah. Malik, do you have a question?
Yes. Not really. It's got to do with your journaling. Do you use this, or you use Outlook, or you actually write it down? Because there are
Right.
times that, or you put them down like a notebook.
So yeah, I just these trades are imputed, right? So once the trades are closed, they automatically update, right? So it's not like a literal journal, like maybe Notion, like for example. It's not the same. Like this is different. So this is just to like track people. This is not like a journal. It's just to track a performance, basically.
Yeah.
So that's how this works.
No, well, no. What I mean for you actually in journaling, because you mentioned we should be journaling. So you actually put your thought process in while you are taking maybe a buy or sell on a particular.
Not anymore.
Oh, okay.
Not anymore. I did that in the past. I did that in the past, but now all my trades are the same. So that's just like, it's going to be redundant, right? Now it's important, right? It's important if you're trying to find an edge, but now not really. Now I don't really journal my trades like I used to before. I just track my performance. Yeah. So, but if you're starting out, you're trying to find an edge, then of course you might want to do your thought process. But because I don't do that, because I'm using the same metric, like I'm doing the exact same thing for every trade. So there's no thought process. Yeah.
Okay. I went off and came back on. I don't know whether you touched on indices, because I see
Yes,
in your indices are very high wins in there.
Yeah, I did. I touched on indices. Yeah.
Okay.
I already did that.
I think I missed it. Yeah, I went off. Okay.
And yeah, what I said for indices was like, there's not much to cover, right? They're not really presenting the best opportunities, so it's just about still waiting. So it's not like there's anything crazy right now going on there. They're just pulling back. That's about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Cassie. Looking through your stock journal, I saw some particular losses which was there about $8 or so. So I'm asking, were you still using the same system? Or like it was a different system that you used?
Now it was the same system. The difference was, now first of all, at the time I wasn't entering from the daily time frame, and I don't know if I've explained this before, but let's go back. Now when I took these losses, it wasn't shocking, but it was an eye opener in the sense that okay, let's see, let's go back. So July, right? When I took these losses, it was an eye opener. So I'll explain why. So yeah, now I want you guys to pay attention to the GPYs. I had 1, 2, 3, 4. Now 4 losses came from the GPY. Now in my history of trading GPYs, I have never, right, taken this loss, like this much losses on the GPYs, like at a go in 1 month. Now that's when I got to understand where I was mixing my key levels. Now it's not really like I was mixing it, but the chart I was using, I think I've explained to you guys that I use ICE, like ICE, as my when I'm looking at the chart, as opposed to like regular broker offerings, right? So that's the reason why it changed, because the key levels that I would get on some of these brokers, like the price fees I would get from some of these brokers, were costing me to adjust my trades and to miss trades and to take unnecessary losses. You get it? That's what happened with these. So it's not like it was the system per se. It was the price feed I was using at the time was costing me to take extra loss than I was supposed to. Right? Look at even France 40. This is the same France 40 I won. Like I took a buy on in November, right? I took a profit off. So this 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that's 80 card. I think about 5 of these losses were unnecessary. Unnecessary in the sense that it was a mix-up on the price feed I was using at the time. So when I saw that happen, when I saw that, okay, my price feeds are also affecting my performance and results, I had to change. Yeah, Carlos remember. So I think I gave this explanation like I think some months ago. So that's what happened with these losses. So when I saw this loss, I was like, okay, I don't take this. This doesn't happen to me. It's not regular. So then I had to like check properly and find out why it was happening. Because it was happening like my favorite pairs. Like I would buy UJ or CATJ, and the next day I'll get stopped out. And now mind you, this was happening when the Bank of Japan first raised interest rates. So you see the timeline, right? It happened in July. And if you go back to the JPYs, you see where the dump started. So I was buying at that price. Think about it. So if you go back to like the chart, where the dump started on the JPYs, it was that was where I was buying because I was having like a messed up price feed. So my key levels would differ because of the price feed I was using. So in real sense, I was already buying at key levels instead of holding back. You get? So that was what caused this to happen. And so it's not like it was necessarily the system. No, it was just the price feeds were like a serious issue at the time. So I had to go back and then change the price feeds. So every price feed I use now, like the chart I'm using now, is like I'm kind of getting, would I say, direct access to like trading exchanges you get as opposed to from brokers. So that's why for indices I would look at futures, not CFDs. Like this is a whole other explanation, but I would look at futures because that's like the underlying asset, and then I'll trade at CFDs on my personal accounts or brokers or accounts I'm managing. And then for currency pairs, either I look at the futures or I look at the pairs on ICE. So if you go to TradingView and search for any currency pair, amongst the things you see, let's just go back. All right, let's just go back so that it makes sense. So Euro USD, for example, right? Can you guys see my screen? Just making sure. Okay, I think so. So EU, for example, right? If you search out EU, you have different brokers giving you their price feeds. Now, amongst the brokers, you have this guy, IC. IC stands for Intercontinental Exchange, right? So I will use this as opposed to brokers because then, like way back, like in my early years, when I was using key levels to trade, I would see times where FXCM and Owanda would define their price feeds. Like the key levels are not like exactly the same. So on one price feed, I'm getting like a break and retest. On the other, I'm not. So then I'm confused. Should I take the break and retest or should I leave it? If I take it and it stops out, it's like, okay, maybe I'm using the wrong price feed. But then it was happening. It was interchanging from time to time. So it was when I got to adjust this to like this guy here that I started having these issues. So I got to understand that my performance before then was greatly affected by the chart I was using. You get my performance before then was also affected by the chart I was using. Now, this may not affect everybody, but it affects me because I'm precise with the key levels. Do you understand? I'm very precise. Now, with the other systems I trade, I don't necessarily need it. But with this system, it is very important. So when I looked back at some of the losses I took, I'm like, damn. It's not really because I was wrong, but I was having wrong levels because of the price feed. Like they were just slightly different. And those little differences make a lot. I think I've used this chart on silver, like this take profit on silver, to explain what a different price feed can cost you, right? So that's about it. So that's why that's why those losses happen, and that's why I need to make the adjustment. But this doesn't mean that every single person has to use ice, right? It doesn't. But personally, for the sake of my system, I need to use it. So
Okay, all right, thank you.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Hello.
all right, go ahead, Abu.
Hello, Casey. Yeah,
I can hear you.
actually,
Go
my
ahead.
question is just about, my question is about, like the topic we're discussing about at the beginning of this session, about when you started trading or so, also. So actually, I want to ask you something is that, like, what do you have to say? What do you have to say personally to maybe to someone like me that's just, I don't know about any other, but someone like me that's just building experience on the forex market also. Like, what would you advise that, okay, you need to avoid, like, what would you advise that, okay, avoid this thing for you, like for you not to take longer, like, like other forex traders that, okay, you say that, okay, I'm being profitable after 4, 5, 6 years or so. You understand? Like, what do you say? Okay, you have to avoid this thing. And what do you have to say to your younger self? Let's say you go back in time, but what would you avoid? So for you not to, like, for you not to suffer those was it, let me say, those backlash that you said you did
Yeah, the bottom.
suffer maybe in 20 or so, like, so that's just my question all about. So I don't know.
Okay. So if I was to start trading again, what would I do? Right? Crazy. Now, okay. First off, I think I'm proud that I got to learn most of the things I learned through experience and like myself, right? Now, that's not to say I didn't pay for education because I did. I did at some point. I think towards the end of last year, I did pay for education. It cost me money, and you guys can see the effect of education already, right? I'm also going to bring fundamentals into the picture. I've not said much about that, but like that's a different case. But the point is, if I was to start trading, even though yes, I'm proud that I got to learn most of these things through experience, but if I was to start again, I would have just gotten the proper education, quite frankly, because it just saves you the stress. It just saves you the stress. You see, it's a myth that you have to suffer to be profitable. That's a myth. I promise you. It is not. It's not true. I hold the opinion. I hold the belief that it is not true. You don't have to suffer first before you learn how to trade. Yes, you may not have you may not jump into profitability like right there and then, but you don't have to suffer first. That's the difference. I'm not saying that you must be profitable like in your first month, but having to go through that wild period of time where you're like suffering and not understanding what you're doing, you don't have to do that if you have the proper education. And if I was to start again, I would sing it like a song. Get the proper education. Get the proper education. It just saves you from so much. And it just goes back to my point as to why we have so many unprofitable traders in the space. Right? So many unprofitable traders in the space. It is because the people they learn from are not necessarily good at trading. So it's like it's a ripple effect. I mean, there's no way to be profitable when they're learning from people who are not profitable, right? So it's like the education is such a big deal. Like it's a big thing. So if you are getting the proper education, you'd see that you're going to make so much progress. I mean, since we started coming on live sessions and trading, have we really suffered? Like, what is the suffer here, really, right? So that's what I'll say. Get the proper education, and which is what we're providing, right? Now, only a few people in the trading industry actually provide like the proper education. So if you have the proper education, then trust me, you'll be way better. So that's why we're bringing the proper education. You get. So that's like the point. Education, like the big thing. It just saves from everything else. It just saves from everything else. Because I would use, say, maybe this system as an example, right? This system has taken 2 losses this year. Just 2 losses were marked, right? And before I took these 2 losses, the last time I took a loss was in November of 2024. So if I was to give you the system to trade, would you be suffering? I'd like to hear a comment. If I was to give you the system to trade, would you like I'm to teach you how to trade the system? Would you necessarily be suffering?
No. I don't think so.
No.
I don't think.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it might take you more time to understand it and to learn how to use it, but you will not be suffering. You will not be blowing your account, right? You'll not be having to lose 15% of your account and 20% of your account. All of those things will not be happening. You get. So to trade consistently and profitably, you need a proven system. Proven. That's the word. A proven system. If you have a proven system, it saves you the stress. And then if you learn trading properly, like how it should be done, the proper education, it saves you the stress. It's the honest truth, right? That's just the honest truth. So when you get this education and then you come out and you see people who are struggling, just check. They're lacking something. They're lacking the proper education. That's it. For the most part, that's what they're lacking. Because if you look at the system they trade, and then if you ask them questions, right? Ask them to provide proof that the system works. Ask them to provide a track record. I mean, for the educators, for example, ask them to provide a track record. For those who are trading, ask them to provide proof that the system works. They can't. In most cases, they just cannot. And then they wonder why they're not profitable. So you see where people will start to say things like, you need to work on your psychology. You're not disciplined enough. Yes, you need to work on your psychology. Yes, you need to be disciplined. But it starts from the edge. It starts from the system. That thing you're applying to the market, that's where it starts. So if that is wrong, every other thing you build on it will be wrong. So when I see some persons on the internet and they're struggling with trading, I look at how they trade. I look at their systems and I'm like, okay, for the most part, your system is not proven. So how can you know if what you're doing is right, if it even makes sense, if your system is not proven yet? Then you ask them where you learn from, you see the educators you're learning from. Most of them are just like, come on now. Most of these guys don't know how to trade. Like, that's the honest truth. So that's why when I say get a proper education, it's like, okay, but from where, right? That's why I said there are only a few people in the space who can actually provide this education. So when you get a proper education, it just saves you so much stress. So I think that kind of answers the question.
It answers the question. So actually, let's say it's actually me because I've come across a lot of interviews or something, and a lot of people like they say like, okay, I'm being profitable after 4 years, I'm being profitable after 5 years. Like even if you like if someone shared, okay, like maybe you're just starting to build your experience or something, like they'll be like, oh, I think you still have a long way to go. I think you need to suffer some backlash, some back this and like I don't know if you quite get me or something like they said, okay, maybe after. So
think about it, right? Think about it. Why did it take me so much time? It took me time to build my system to what I have now. You get? If I had this system given to me when I started, come on now. Like, if I had this system it's like I'm receiving on a platter of gold. And you see why, in most cases, people who are good at trading will charge you for the education they provide. And that's why some persons who are not utilizing this aspect of the education, I've said that they're missing out because this is free, right? This is free of charge. The live sessions, the analysis, everything is free of charge, right? So it is so important that it should not be that way, but it is. So it's like that's why I'm thankful that we are taking advantage of this opportunity, right? Because I don't know how many places we can get this education for literally nothing. I'm not sure how many places we can do that. So I spent so much time to be profitable because I didn't have anybody to show me the ropes. I didn't have anybody who was profitable, who was legit and profitable to show me the ropes. I didn't have that. But if I had that, I wouldn't have to take 2-3 years to gain stability in trading. It's not supposed to happen. If that happens, then that's a you problem. If that happens, that's a you problem. Then you have to check maybe your psychology, your discipline, your patience. Okay, then you have to check these things. But the system itself, if you were given this system from the very first day you started trading, you should not be suffering. So that's just the point. So anybody who tells you that I think I might understand when someone says it might take you time because, of course, you need to gain experience. You need to see different market conditions, right? We had COVID, we had the trade war, Trump when he was president before now in 2018. We had the bear market, cryptos, stocks were dropping. Like you need to see different market conditions to test, your skill and improve your experience. But with a hand guiding you, you may not necessarily be suffering. That's the difference. Is that point I want to clear out? That you're going to go through like a downhill. No, it's not supposed to happen. It's not supposed to happen. So it should not take you 4 years. It should not take you 3 years to know how to trade. It should not. If it takes you that long, then you're doing something wrong. It's either you're not getting the proper education or you're not applying the education the way you got it. For example, I can probably say that if you learn how to trade this way, if, for example, we're charging for this education, right, I could say that I could give you a refund if you learn how to trade this way and blow an account. Because I'm so confident that you will never blow an account. You should never blow an account. That's how confident I am in the system and how I trade now. So if you are to blow an account, it means that you are doing something wrong. You're not following the system as it should be followed. But if you are doing so, then you should never blow an account. So that's the level of confidence that we're getting to. And that's why I said that if we pay attention, if we apply these things in our trading, we'll make progress. It's without a doubt. When we have a session in December of this year, we're going to look back at these terms. We're going to look back at February, at January, and you're going to be like, okay, yes, I've come a long way this year. That's the goal. That's the point we're trying to get you guys to. So, I don't know. Does that answer your question, Abdul?
Sure, it answers my question. Thank you. Thank you. It's really insightful. Thank you.
All right. So, yes, any other questions just before we wrap up?
Good evening.
Yes, good evening.
Hello. Yeah, so I have a question here. So my strategy, the system I use is basically break and retest as key zones. So my question is, can I use this system at lower time frames, like 4 hours and 1 hour? Are they reliable? Like, is the system reliable in lower time frames? And if there's any difference, because I've noticed that you mostly place your trades at the daily time frame and at the 4 hour time frame. So is there any difference in my approach if I'm using a different time frame, or you suggest that I use a higher time frame for that particular system? Because that's the only system I know about. So yeah.
Okay, so there might be more about your system that we need to discover. So yes, Abdul.
No, I don't know if I can just maybe probably answer him from my own perspective or something, because it's something I've tried.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Actually, concerning the system you're talking about, Koye, because I've really tried it on the lower time frame, and like I can say that it doesn't quite work well, because sometimes like the market, the price action might probably retrace by maybe as a retail or something, and sometimes your stop loss might not even contain it. So I think from my own experience, I've tried on the lower time frame before, and it didn't work out quite well. It didn't work out.
Okay, yes, you have a point there, Abdul. So, but then, Corey, I think we need to see the system. Like, I need to see how it works. I need to see how you enter, the levels you use. Like, I think maybe in our next session, you can maybe share your screen and then talk more about it. You get. So this way, I have like more. I can see from your perspective. I have like more understanding about your system, and then know how to give a reply. But just as a general rule of thumb, it is much difficult to find success on lower time frames. Okay, I think it's very obvious now. Do you know how much precision the market moves in most cases so randomly? So do you know how much precision you need to have to be consistent on the lower time frame? Now you might be consistent for a month, for 2 months, for 3 months, maybe even 6. But for like years and years and years, with the different market conditions, the different things coming in, do you know how much precision you need to have to be consistent in lower time frames? It takes a lot, right? And then it would mean you have to reduce risk. There's so much involved. I'm not saying you can't be profitable trading lower time frames. You can, but it just requires more work than what you have to do in the higher time frames. You understand? So again, to give you a proper answer, I'll need to want to see your system. I'm interested in seeing your system. So you said you use break and retest of some key zones. So I would like to see what those key zones are, how you look for the break and retest, all of these things. So when I see that, then we can discuss it.
Okay, thank you very much. I can give you a detailed breakdown in the next session, so you can have a
All
better
right,
perspective.
all right, that's
Thanks.
fine. So if you are coming up, so maybe you can come up with your laptop, maybe if you have a laptop, and then share your screen. Then you can just talk to us about your system and then we'll ask questions and then we'll see how it goes.
I have a system, so you can do that.
All right, then that's peaceful.
All right, thanks.
All right, yeah. Okay, so yeah, any other questions? Okay, so all right
Sorry,
then.
I have a
No,
question, Casey.
okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Do you have like a limit of like the highest amount of trades you can enter, like when you're trading?
No, I don't. I don't have a limit. Now, why don't I have a limit? It's because of how the trades are set up. I can't really have 10 trades set up at the same time. So before you see me have how many trades do I have open at the moment? Let me just check. I think 9 or 10. Sorry, let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I have 9 open trades at the moment. Now, it took months for me to get to these 9. You get. So if I have many trades open, it's not necessarily because all of these trades set up at the same time. You get. So I don't have a limit as to the number of trades I can hold. No, I don't.
So, Cassie, how will you define over trading?
How would I define over trading? Interesting question. Now, over trading would mean trading outside your plan, right? Because let me give you an example. If you have 3 trading setups setting up, would you not take it? And if you decide to skip one trade,
I'll take. Yeah.
exactly. So if you decide to skip one trade, because you don't want to over trade, then would that really be over trading? So I think context matters, okay, to answer the question. Because would I consider myself as over trading at the moment? No, definitely not, right? But to some accounts, to some portfolios, 10 open trades might be over trading. You get. But for me, it's all the trades are in line with my plan. All the trades didn't set up at the same time. All the trades are like at key levels. So all the trades are in profit. So it's not over trading, but it differs. So over trading is not like there's no like one size fits all to answer the question. But as long as your trades are in line with your plan, then you're not necessarily over trading. I think you might want to watch your risk, maybe, but I don't ever suggest or agree that you should skip a trade idea if it's in line with your plan. It is better you take it with like lesser risk, but skipping trade ideas, nah, I think that's even a breach of your system. I think that's a breach of your system. So you're better off taking the trades with lesser risk, right, than missing the trade altogether. Like you see 3 trade ideas, then you leave one, and then take 2. I mean, what is that like? How did you find that? So, if you think you're over, if you think you have too many trades open, I think then it means that your risk is either too high, or some of your trades are outside your plan. It's one of these 2 things. But if all your trades are according to your plan, and then you feel like, okay, I have so many trades open, and you have like a new trade idea, then you might maybe reduce risk on the trade idea. I think that's better. So,
Okay. Okay, I understand.
all right. Other questions? All right. So, in the absence of any questions, I think this is where we draw the curtain for our live session today. It was wonderful as always, and yes, I'm thankful. Thank you guys for showing up today, for the questions, everything. It just makes the sessions more enjoyable. So, once again, thank you guys for showing up. And our next session would be on Monday. And yes, the bootcamp is coming up. I was still trying to like finalize things. So yes, I think that's about it. So let's see what we have. I'll let you guys know what we're going to discuss and everything else. So again, thank you guys for showing up, and
Is there a
I'll see
date
you.
or not yet?
Not yet, but yes, of course, it is coming up.
Okay.
All right,
Thank you.
So all of
Thank
this
you.
is all of this will be communicated to you guys well beforehand, and yeah, we'll see how that goes.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. So Abdul, do you have a question? I think you had your mic on.
Like, I'll just say thank you.
Oh, okay, of course, anytime, man. Thank you too for showing up, the questions and everything. So you guys have a wonderful evening, and I'll see you guys on Monday. Okay.
Okay. Cheers. Thanks. Bye.
Thank you.
Right. You're welcome. You're welcome, guys. Let's see. So, stop recording.